Our next guest is Liz Clarke. She's Brock's Associate Professor of Communication, Pop Culture, and Film Studies. And Liz, for the first time in quite a few years, I've actually seen quite a few of the nominated films for this year's Oscars. What about you?
I've seen probably about half of them, I think. I did a big binge watch of a lot of the movies.
You and
So
I talk a lot about streaming, and that's what's made it possible for me to see a couple of them. And I think that's true for most people, don't you think?
I do, and I think like it's also interesting to see which ones are freely available on streaming and which ones are still in that zone where you're renting or buying. With the home premiere, I think is something that I saw this weekend when I was trying to catch up on all the Oscar movies. So I had to rent a couple of them as well.
Let's talk about, I guess, the biggest controversy about this year's Oscars was that Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for director for Barbie, even though Barbie was nominated for Best Picture. Margot Robbie was not nominated for Best Actress. Did that sort of, I don't know, cheapen the Oscars this year? I mean, that was not just a blockbuster, but it really was a good movie.
I mean, I thought it was a great movie. I think that we have those kinds of moments every year. I would say the Oscars are. I mean, everybody really understands it's kind of a political thing. You and I have had so many conversations about streaming versus theaters, and I think that largely the Oscars exist to promote movie going, like going to the cinema, and films like Barbie, although let me just preface that I loved it and I'm sad that it wasn't nominated for Best Director as well. But it's a blockbuster, and I think in some ways it doesn't need the advertising to get people to go to the theater to see it, which
Ryan
is
Gosling
unfortunate.
got his nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and I think that's what really rankled a lot of people, right?
Right. And the other one that I heard kind of heard a lot about was America Ferrera was also nominated for supporting actress, and she was largely kind of forgotten, and um, it's not she's a Latina actress who it's kind of also a watershed moment for nominations for like non-white actresses. So it was actually quite disappointing. I think a lot of people were disappointed that her nomination was overshadowed by the lack of nomination for Gerwig and Margot Robbie, and that she wasn't really able to celebrate it in the same way that I think she deserved to.
In the same way, when we look at Greta Gerwig being ignored, there is one female Best Director nomination, which is, I guess it's a good thing, but probably there should have been two.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the other thing that I've seen a lot of discourse online, or, you see a lot of kind of hot takes, I guess, as of people arguing should it have been Gerwig instead of the direct, the Justine for Anatomy of a Fall. But it shouldn't be an either or. It shouldn't be that like we are hoping for one female director. There should be space for many. And the fact that we're still counting one or two is quite disappointing.
That's right. There shouldn't be any kind of quota there. Let's go
No.
over. Let's go over Best Picture. So I think I've seen four of them. I've seen The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Barbie. There's a couple more on my list that I haven't gotten to. Now, my wife will sometimes watch some of these when I'm out here doing this or doing something else, and I didn't get a chance to watch them with her. But I mean, I'm impressed with all four of those movies. Who do you think might be the favorite in that category?
Oof, I've never been a good predictor. I think Oppenheimer possibly. It wasn't my favorite of the group. I think um, Barbie is in Best Picture, but not Best Director.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking Oppenheimer or possibly Flowers of the Killer Moon.
When we look at Best Actor, Bradley Cooper, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, I'm probably not saying his name right, Jeffrey Wright. Again, if we look at them, it's a hard one to call. There's some really great
All right.
performances there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really loved, I liked the Jeffrey Wright performance in American Fiction, so that would be where I'm leaning. Again, I'm not a good predictor, so I uh, don't put your money on my bets, is what I would say.
Annette Bening, for a movie that really, like Naiad, I thought, was it not just released on streaming? Did it actually go into theaters?
That's one of the ones I haven't yet seen, so I'm not entirely up on where that one is yet.
Well, that's one that I did see, and I mean, Annette Bening was really almost unrecognizable in that role. She was an elderly tennis player, and it was a very good movie, a very interesting movie, and a great performance from Annette Bening.
Oh, great. Yeah, again, my predictions aren't great, but if you're on Annette Bening's team, I will.
Well, I might.
Put,
I might, I might jump over to Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon, because again, that was a great performance from her.
yeah, that's the one that I've actually been hearing the most about. So yeah, that's where I'm guessing they will fall. The votes will fall.
Where will you be watching the Oscars this year? It's this Sunday. Where will you be watching?
Well, now that we're doing this discussion, I think I'm going to try to have some people over and have some, maybe Oscar themed drinks and snacks and see if I can revive a party.
Will you roll out the red carpet towards your front door?
Yeah. We once did that with the Brock University film series. We hosted the shorts that were nominated because no one ever gets to see the shorts.
Right.
Yeah, we had a red carpet for that. So I know that you can rent them in town.
Well, whatever you do, Liz, enjoy the Oscars this Sunday, March 10th, 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.